Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to my argument, I will ask to you, what is the main reason the people do the corruption? We already know that the main reason they do the corruption is just for the money, ladies and gentlemen. They want the expensive car, they want the beautiful and large house and also apartment. They want the family happy by using the beautiful dress, the expensive dress, and etc. So that's why the government want to take it back, ladies and gentlemen, because we know that the money is the main reason they do the crime, and also the money that make them always do that in the future. If we don't take the money, they still have the power to do that in the future, ladies and gentlemen. So let's move to what the opposition may confuse about. They confuse about that. First, why the family of the corruptor should also be punished, but by what they do not do, because that's exactly what we want to achieve, and the reason I will explain after this. And the second point the opposition question about is, how is the corruptor or the ex-corruptor be after the impeachment, which is they might do another crime or border state, that the government should care about them because they are employed, ladies and gentlemen. So that's not really our business, ladies and gentlemen. If they do another crime, they get another punishment. If they are confused how they survive, it's exactly their business. They are employed and they are confused to do survive after what exactly they already did. That's not our business, ladies and gentlemen. And the third is why we cannot use the rehabilitation to prevent the corruption, because it will cost money much more. That we also have to cost the food, the place, and we also pay to rehab the corruption that already take our money, that already take the country's money, ladies and gentlemen. And let's move to my argument. Why the government want this proposal to be implemented? Because first, we want to see them suffer. Why? Because we have tried to see them, they are suffering after what they already did to our people. They took our money and make our people suffering. They live happily, they have the power. And also, in the status quo, the jail and the fine are not enough, ladies and gentlemen, because they still have the power to, they might by the law, ladies and gentlemen. That's why this proposal should be implemented. Let's take example as Setia Novanto. They get punished. He get punished. He is in jail right now, but he still get the happy life because he can pay the police. He can pay the government to make the special area for him. So that's why if the corruption still has the money, they still have the power to do the corruption again. They still have the power to get the life law, the life punishment. And then the second is we want the social sanction. Why? Because we know the biggest punishment for the criminal is to make them shame, to make the social know what they already did, to make the social look at them to make them realize that they are the criminal. They are getting the biggest punishment, and it will make the environment realize that if they do that, they will ashamed like them. If they do that, they will get a punishment like them. That's why we can cutting off the corruption in this country, ladies and gentlemen. And then the third is we want to gain the public trust. Why? After what already did, after what the corruption already did to the country, it will affect how the people look to the government. We know that in the status quo, the people already lose their trust to the government because of that. All of the corruption and all of what they did, and for the light grant the government give to the corruption, ladies and gentlemen. That's why the people lose trust to them, and may in the future they might getting disappointed, and then they refuse to pay tax because they think that I look for the money. I am suffering to look for the money just to pay the tax in the country, but getting stolen by those corruption, and they didn't even get the punishment they deserve. That's why, to gain the public trust, to make our people trust us, we want to implement this proposal. We want them to trust us. We want them to see that we have the effort to punish them. We have the effort to cutting off the corruption in this country. So, ladies and gentlemen, after all of the argument and after all of what I already mentioned, we want this proposal be implemented in our country because we want to stop the corruption. We want to cut it off all of the reason the corruption in this country, and the only way to stop this crime is just to taking back what they want, to taking back the money, to taking back their power, so they don't have the power at all to destroy our country, to make our people suffering, or to take our money. Thank you.
I want to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. And ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about this motion, right? This motion is the DH Watch Improvisation the Corruptor. And we are talking about the corruptor. What the corruptor going to make the suffer, which is talking about my partner, right? The corruptor going to make me suffer like a cycle, insanity, and the material. We're talking about the cycle. You know, the cycle is like a jail. The corruptor going to throw into jail, and the jail is going to make you suffer. And I think for the cycle with the opposition team is talking about the jail or anything the case. In the jail is not more to get the suffer from the corruptor. That's why because the corruptor in the bodies affect this from the body, not from the hurt. From the deep hurt, not from them. So I think the cycle is not more comfortable for the corruptor. And secondly is talking about the mentality. You know, the mentality is like a social sanction, public trust, and you know about the side about the anything with the people come. And I think the mentality has the good idea for the corruptor, because the government to impoverish the corruptor. I think the social sanction is a more get down about the corruptor in the public trust too. And for the next to it is the material. The more impoverish the corruptor more with the material. I think the material is going to great idea too, because the corruptor get the material from the government, right? And I think if the corruptor doesn't have the material, I think the corruptor doesn't take the action more to get the risk or anything. And how the corruptor get the money from the everything like that. And I think for the government things, I think it take the money from the government. You know, right? The government has the many activity, the proposal. In the activity proposal with the citizen and the society in the neighborhood, and I think the government the many proposal to get the action in the real time. And I think in the real time the proposal, the corruptor has the miserable for the proposal to get the money from the government. And secondly, the corruptor get the money from the citizen or society. And I think for the like a airway, like a RT, it has good position to take the money the corruptor, because the citizen, the society transform from the money to get the many facility, many good building, but in this case the RT or RW doesn't care about that. So I'm talking about the status quo right now. The corruption for the right now is more breakdown, because why is this margin has begun to going up? Because the government to get the many action punishment, many suffering punishment to get many suffer from them. Because if this has the CGS or the regulation or in the government, I think the corruptor can get done. Why can the corruptor can get done? Because they have more team like a friend in the institution and the government. And I think the corruptor has the many relation to get the work, to get the teamwork about the proposal to get the corruption. And for the secondly is they can recruit for the teamwork if the many institution in the government doesn't know about the institution to get the build up about the corruptor, I think is more like just stay low. I think for the example is like a KPK or something else. So for the purpose I want to talking about this person, ladies and gentlemen, is the human. We're talking about the human, right? The human is the greedy. They don't feel enough with that what they have. So the best way to make them learn the lesson is by making them poor. So I think the government thinks this proposal was be up to get the money suffer from the corruptor. And for the secondly is the authority. Right? The corruptor has the many more authority to get the corruptor, because if the authority and the environment has to be good, I think the corruptor must be good from the money get the conclusion in the money effect. So I think the authority and the environment, I think this is the good from the corruptor. And thirdly is the position, the great position. And I think the corruptor has the great position, has the more relation, right? The much relation. He has to know about the system. He has to know about who has the big power on them, right? I think the corruptor is the smart, and I think it's more know about the system. So one thing is the technical is the money, right? The more cheapest for the proposal is the opposition, because if they get the money from the government, why just government just take the regulation for the opposition to say take the regulation to take the money to take the corruptor and anything else? And I think the government just not take the action. Just for this motion, this is only the one reason why. This is about the money, right? It's the purification, the luxury of anything else. What summary in my parents is said, money is important, but it's the best way to stop the proposal way corruptor to improve this, because they are aware to their mistake to get not the repeat again and get the deterrent effect. So why? Because if they are going lost the asset and more happiness, I think this is a more perfect value. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.